Session 6, Induction and Training of New Hires or Employees. After studying this session, you should be able to understand human resource induction or orientation and training processes in work organizations. Second, you should be able to understand the benefits of orientation and training. Third, you should be able to describe the components of training needs assessments. And fourth, identify the types of training methods and evaluations of this training. Orientation, or another way is induction. Sometimes we can also say onboarding. These three are the same. So what is orientation? It is a formal process of familiarizing new employees with the organization, their jobs, and their work units. Therefore, to get new employees off to a good start, organizations will generally have to offer a formal orientation program. What are the benefits of orientation? Lower turnover. This simply means that when you orientate people into the organization, it is less likely that they will leave the organization. Increases productivity, because once you orientate them, they get to know what they are supposed to do, so they move straight into doing it. So they increase performance and productivity. It improves employee morale in that once they are orientated, they get more information and it boosts their morale and they are motivated to work. It lowers recruiting and training costs in the sense that the more you orientate people or new hires, it's simple, you train them and it lowers the amount of training that would have come afterwards. So it lowers the training costs. It facilitates learning. So the more you orientate people to the subsequent training, it facilitates their learning, and it reduces new employees' anxiety. When new hires are orientated into the organization or inducted into the organization, it reduces their anxiety. They get to know the organization, they get to know the people, they get to know what they are supposed to do. So the anxiety of not knowing what's supposed to be done is reduced completely. So let's look at some of the highlights in human resource orientation. What I'm trying to say is that checklists for orienting new employees, what are we looking for? Items in the orientation package is, first of all, there could be a welcome letter with a company background, map of the facility including parking information so that you get to know. Maybe do you need IDs, keys and parking decals and so on where you can normally put your things. Perhaps they'll give you an organizational chart. We also have training classes schedule, safety and emergency procedures, are there holiday schedules and so on. So follow-up activities also are to ensure that employees or the employee has completed required paperwork, including benefits, enrollment forms, revisit performance standards, schedule first performance appraisal meeting, and so on. So training. What is training? It is a process whereby people acquire capabilities to aid in the achievements of organizational goals. It includes both hard and soft skills. So poorly trained employees may perform poorly and make costly mistakes, which can affect negatively the organization. Training is the effort initiated by an organization to foster learning among its members. It tends to be narrowly focused and oriented towards short-term performance concerns, while development is the effort that is oriented more towards broadening an individual's skills for the future responsibilities. Let's look at the difference between employee training and employee development. 1. Employee training is a plan attended by an organization to facilitate employee learning of job-related knowledge, skills, and behaviors. While development refers to teaching managers and professionals the skills needed for both present and future jobs. Training is intended to help the organization function more efficiently. It is also aimed at improving employee productivity, and it is used to accommodate changes in the workplace. Development, on the other hand, helps managers better understand and solve problems, make decisions, motivate employees, and capitalize on opportunities. Systematic training processes. In the systematic training processes, for instance, we have a framework where we start with training needs assessment. Then we move to training designs and move to training delivery, and then we evaluate the training, then come back to our training needs assessment to see whether we've completed it or we have a problem. So let's start with the training needs assessment. Under this, we analyze training needs. Is there a need for training? We identify training objectives and career. From there, we design the training then. That is, pre-test trainees, select training methods appropriate, plan training content, and so on. Under the training delivery, we schedule training, we conduct training, we monitor training. Then in the evaluation process, we measure training outcomes, compare the outcomes to objectives and criteria. Then we see whether the training needs assessment was of benefit or not. So its systematic training process is cyclical. The system approach to training and development. There are 4 phases. Again, we have the needs assessment, program design, implementation, and evaluation, which I have just talked about. In the system model of training, for instance, in the phase 1, which is the needs assessment, we look at organizations analysis. So in needs assessment, we look at organization analysis, task analysis, and person analysis. Then in the phase 2, the design, we look at instructional objectives, training readiness, learning principles. Phase 3, that is the implementation. Is it on-the-job methods, off-the-job methods, management development? Then phase 4, evaluation. We look at reaction of employees, learning, behavior, is that being transferred or not? Then we look at the results. Establishing training objectives and priorities. That is gap analysis. Gap analysis is the distance between where an organization is with its employees' capabilities and where it needs to be. Types of training objectives. 1 is knowledge, 2 is skills, 3 attitude. Now, let's go into detail and look at each of them. That is conducting the needs assessment. We start with organizational analysis. With organizational analysis, it's an examination of the environment, strategies, and resources of the organization to determine where training emphasis should be placed. On the task analysis, it is the process of determining what the content of a training program should be on the basis of a study of the task and the duties involved in that job. Person analysis, that is a determination of the specific individuals who need training. So phase 2, designing the training programs. This includes instructional objectives. Instructional objectives represent the desired outcomes of a training program, which is performance-centered objectives. It also provides a basis for choosing methods and materials and for selecting the means for assessing whether the instruction will be successful. Training methods for non-managerial employees. With the training methods for non-managerial employees, we have what we call on-the-job training. We have what we call apprenticeship training, cooperative training, including internship and governmental training, classroom instruction, program instruction, audiovisual methods, computer-based training, and e-learning. Simulation methods too is included. Training methods for non-managerial continue. On-the-job training, and this explains the method by which employees are given hands-on experience with instructions from their supervisors or other trainers. We also have drawbacks, or that is the disadvantages of what we call training methods for non-managerial employees. There is the lack of a well-structured and training environment. So poor training skills of managers and the absence of well-defined job performance criteria. On-the-job training. Overcoming on-the-job training problems. 1, develop realistic goals or measure for each on-the-job training area. 2, plan a specific training schedule for each trainee. 2, include a set periods of evaluation and feedback. 3, help managers establish a non-threatening atmosphere conducive to learning. 4. Conduct periodic evaluations after training is completed to prevent regression. Apprenticeship training. A system of training in which a worker entering the skilled trade is given thorough instructions and experience both on and off the job in the practical and theoretical aspects of the job. Cooperative training. A training program that combines practical on-the-job experience with formal educational classes. Internship programs. Internship programs are jointly sponsored by colleges, universities, and other organizations that offer students the opportunity to gain real-life experience while allowing them to find out how they will perform in the work organizations. Classroom instructions. It enables the maximum number of trainees to be handled by the minimum number of instructors. Blended learning includes lectures and demonstrations, are combined with films, DVDs, and videotapes or computer instructions. Program instruction. This referred to as self-directed learning, and it involves the use of books, manuals, or computers to break down subject matter content into highly organized logical sequence that demand continuous response on the part of the trainee. Audiovisual methods. Technologies such as CDs and DVDs are used to teach skills and procedures by illustrating the steps in a procedure or interpersonal relationship. E-learning. E-learning describes the learning that takes place via electronic media such as web or computer-based training. It allows the firm to bring the trainee it allows the firms to bring the training to employees. It allows employees to customize their own learning in their own time and space, and it provides continuous update training materials. Advantages and disadvantages of e-learning. Advantages: 1. A self-paced training can proceed on their own time. 2. It is interactive, tapping multiple training senses. 3. It enables scoring of exercises, assessment, and the appropriate feedback. 4. It incorporates built-in guidance and helps for trainees to use when needed. It can be used to enhance instructor-led training. It is good for representing simple facts and concepts. Disadvantages of e-learning: may cause trainee anxiety because of ignorance. Some trainees may not be interested in it. It may require easy and uninterrupted access to computers. It is not appropriate for some training too, especially leadership and cultural changes, because this cannot be taught using the internet. So it also requires significant support from top management to be successful. Simulation. The simulation method of training emphasizes realism in equipment and its operation at minimum cost and maximum safety. It is used when it is either impractical or unwise to train employees on the actual equipment used on the job. So simulations are done in aircraft or the aviation industry, whereby pilots are first they use what we call aircraft simulators on the ground as training materials. Now, training methods for management development. These include on-the-job experience. Remember the training methods for non-managerial, we said on-the-job training, but this one we say on-the-job experience. So they also include seminars and conferences, case studies, management games, role play, behavior modeling. These are all aspects of training methods for management development. On-the-job experience, it will include coaching. So managers coach their assistants, understudy assignment, job rotation, lateral transfer, special projects, action learning, staff meetings, plan career progressions. All these things enable the manager to experience what is being done. Behavior modeling. It is an approach that demonstrates desired behavior and gives trainees the chance to practice and role play those behaviors and receive feedback. It involves 4 basic components. Case studies. The use of case studies is most appropriate when 1. Analytic problem solving and critical thinking skills are most important. 2. That the knowledge, skills, and abilities are complex and participants need time to master them. 3. Active participation is desired. 4. The process of learning, that is questioning, interpreting, and so on, is as important as the content. 5. Team problem solving and interactions are possible. Benefits of training. Benefits of training, it ensures staff have capabilities and skills to enable them become more effective at workplace. It ensures organizations' culture emphasizes innovation, creativity, and learning. It increases employee knowledge of competitors and how learning new skills can lead to competitive advantage. 4th, it ensures flexibility and response to change. Then 5th, it encourages acceptance of diversity and greater understanding of each other. In our summary for this session, we say organizational operations cover a broad range of HR processes, from orientation and training to management development. Evaluation of training programs focuses on participants' reaction, learning behavior on the job, and results on investment. I'll now refer you to session 6, slides on the session 6 to read them, and also the reading material on the book. Thank you very much.